Bum 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 bow bow bow. Hey yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's poppin'? How y'all doing, fellas? Damn, I got two screens right now, not just a laptop, and now two screens. We added another one over the past 2 days it came in, so we got everything going. We got everything up on these screens. All the lights hitting me. What's up? Lights, cameras, action. How's it going? Week 6 live. Gonna take your questions. Before we do, like, subscribe if you're watching on the replay, and for the people, however many are in here right now, what do we got? Like 100 or so people in here. We already got 216 of you lovely people in here spending your Sunday morning, 10 a.m. East Coast time, 10:02 to be exact. What's up? Be sure, the sponsor of this live stream, before we get into it, I have to thank them right now, Jock Market. And there's a contest right now that is pinned up on my Twitter, at Sal Vetri DFS. You take 2 seconds of your time, you go over there, and actually I just put it up on the screen quickly right now. It is pinned up. It is a giveaway, and basically it is Jock Market. And if you're not familiar with Jock Market right now is a stock exchange meeting daily fantasy sports. That's all you got to know about it, because that's basically what it is. You're going to buy low, you're going to sell high based on fantasy points. You get your stocks to go up, and hopefully they don't go down. You get a guy who's injured, he just busts, he doesn't do well. So it's all based on projection, your expectation of what they're going to do, which is a projection. So check it out. It is linked down below for their app. This link right here is also down below to this giveaway. I know you can't see the top of it. Basically, it's free money up for grabs. You'll get $10 for free if you just screenshot your balance on Jock Market. The app is down below, and one person is going to get $50 Rooskies. Not many people have entered into this contest yet, so I assume a lot of people will come over from this live stream and enter it. Takes 2 seconds of your time to just screenshot your phone and go and tag Sal Vetri and Jock Market over on Twitter. You'll get automatically $10 into your account. It's just buying stocks of players. It's a ton of fun. It's something I've been trying to look for a while. They reached out about a month and a half ago, and we've partnered up. So be sure to check out Jock Market down below. Daily Fantasy Sports becomes a stock exchange. They have not only free contests, so you don't even have to put any money in, but they do have cash contests where you can put a couple $100 in, however much you want, and see your stocks rise based on the players that you are choosing. What is up, people? Check them out. Link down below. And with all that said, we're going to get into it. I got my exposures up on the other screen. I got my projections over here, some ownership numbers. What is going on, everybody? I'm excited to get into this bad boy right now. I see a bunch of people hopping up in here. I'm going to just start answering questions. We're on a 15-second delay from when I can see the chat, just so things don't get crazy. So from right now, I'm going to start. If you want to ask your question again, you can. I asked you not to throw in the same one 30 times because I will get to it, and that's just going to crowd up the whole stream. So be sure to just do that. It'll help out a ton. So yeah, well, let's get in here. We already got 350 of you in here. From the vlog to the stream, it's a Sal all morning kind of day. Yeah, I just released the vlog. I was going to do it Monday morning, but I got it done and I was like, fuck it, we're going to do it. So my vlog is from basically yesterday's events. I went to a pumpkin patch and I talked some business stuff and we had a ton of fun. So be sure to check it out. It's 9 minutes, the third vlog. We did 3 vlogs in a week. So it was pretty easy to do, right? I'm not doing anything too crazy with them, but they're a lot of fun. Hey, Sal, my guy, thoughts on Cam Newton? So I'm getting Cam Newton right now, but I'm not getting a ton of him. Just if I'm playing, I think Cam Newton's a very sneaky if you're playing 3 maxes, especially higher stakes, to get different. Run Cam Newton naked, I think, is actually viable in those types of tournaments. You know, a couple hundred people in the tournaments. But in terms of like my overall exposures right now, I'm only getting 7% Cam Newton. That's still 10 lineups with him. It's just the problem with Cam Newton is his stacking options. N'Keal Harry, Edelman, I'm getting a decent amount of, and then like Damiere Byrd. It's just hard to get to that and like those stacking options when you know a lot of his production in a huge game probably comes on the ground more times than not. And on the opposite side of that one, running him back in stacks on the opposite side for a game stack, which is all my lineups into my 150s, Denver doesn't have that many options. No Fant out, not that high in Jerry Jeudy. I think Philip Lindsay would be your primary option there to run it back with on the opposite side. But yeah, Newton I'm okay on. Like Newton's my 5th highest owned quarterback. I'm not getting a ton of him, but I'm definitely getting some. Edits donates $2 to the stream. He says Tannehill, Stafford, Big Ben, Brady, or Fitz today. I am getting the most of those guys right now of actually Tannehill. It depends what kind of tournament. It depends what you're playing. If you're playing and you're trying to game stack, I'm getting the most of Tannehill. If you're just playing a cash contest, it would be between Stafford and Fitz, and I would probably go in that scenario to Stafford. Any interest in Aaron Jones? A little interest. Again, if I'm playing 150 maxes, I'm probably not going to get there, but in hand building single entry and 3 max, he's somebody that I'm going to consider. But the issue is like there's other lower owned running backs. Like he's going to be probably 8-10% owned, but James Conner, Miles Sanders, they might be lower owned than him today and they're cheaper. So yeah, I do have Sanders. He's one of the 3 running backs that I'm allowing to get paired up with his, or not Sanders, Jones, his quarterback. I only have 1% Jones, though, 2 lineups. Are these the least owned today? I don't know what that means. What are you talking about? The least owned today. I'm not sure what that means. Also, I don't know if you can see on the screen right here with what's showing, but there's Ryan Tannehill as well on the screen. Do you feel safe with running a Dolphins-Jets semi-stack? No, I'm probably not going to do that in much. I mean, I have no Jets quarterbacks. I have 5% Ryan Fitzpatrick, so I guess I'm going to have a couple of stacks with the Dolphins and run it back with like a Crowder in most of those spots, I assume, but not a lot. Who's your fuck it play for this week? I don't know what that means. Like low own play? I mean, there's not a guy I'm just running out there and I don't think he's going to be a good play and I'm praying for something. I mean, if you're punting tight end, Irv Smith seems like he's going to be popular now. So from all the videos that are going out. So I'd probably pivot to Anthony Fursker or Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle's getting just as much usage from a route run and snaps percentage as Irv Smith. He's just not seeing targets, which is a concern, but he's $200 more and he's not going to be owned. Like Irv Smith, projections right now are showing that he's going to be like double-digit owned. It's fair because you can just punt them, and there's not that many great tight ends this week. But there's some good 3K ones just touching the 4K range. Austin Hooper, Ertz, Darren Fells still. But yeah, I mean, I have Irv Smith, but I only have 3%. I'm not getting up to how crazy he is. Best stack of the day and best stack of the early only. Yeah, I don't really even know what the early only are. I know there's only 2 games in the afternoon, so I guess it's everything but the Packer and Dolphin game. My highest owned stacks, I mean, right now it's looking like I'm getting a lot of Houston, good amount of Tennessee, good amount of Atlanta, and then there's just a bunch of hodgepodging after that. Goff tonight? No, I haven't even looked at the Sunday night game. I probably won't. David Johnson, Mostert, or Gibson? I think I'll go Gibson there. I mean, if you're playing in like your season long, Johnson's probably pretty safe for 8 to 10 points, and I think so is Gibson with a higher ceiling. Crowder or Galladay for cash? I would go Galladay there in cash. What's the max exposure you usually set for a player? I don't set exposures on players. I don't put any caps, so if I get 100%, I get 100%, but that's usually pretty rare. Can I use Aaron Jones as a run back for my Buck stack? You definitely can. She like that boy Gaskin? No, I don't. I think I have right now Myles Gaskin in 3% of my lineup, so I'm definitely below the field there. Here's some running back options. A couple of running back options. Let me actually filter these running back options so you can get all the yeses to pop to the top and not just be filtered by salary for you. So let's filter this. Also, if you're watching, everything is up. The closing thoughts, everything that I'm doing in strategy-wise for 40 minutes is on Patreon tonight for the podcast. Projections and rankings are out. The goal is that next week, hopefully, and if not by then, definitely the week after, I'm assuming, ownership will be out on Patreon as well for the first time. So very excited about all the stuff that's coming out over there. Who's somebody you have a lot of exposure to that you're nervous about? Darren Fells, I have a good amount of exposure to that I'm nervous about. I mean, I have just a lot of overall exposure to A.J. Brown, so I'm not nervous about him at his price tag, but I got like 50+% right now. Outside of that, I got 17% Randall Cobb. That's higher than a lot of people, but not too nervous about that. Running backs, I'm not nervous about any of my exposures. I mean, I'm above the field on all the really good plays. I'm above the field on some of the lower owned plays. I mean, I'm above the field on Henry, Madison, Taylor, Philip Lindsay, Mike Davis, Montgomery I'm probably equal with. I'm above the field on Kareem Hunt and James Conner, Miles Sanders. So, I mean, like, how can I not like that? So running back I feel pretty secure about. I would say that Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, I'm a little bit nervous on based on the ownership I'm getting of him. Not much at wide receiver. Darren Fells definitely at tight end. Sal, Claypool for cash, question mark? I have a good amount of Claypool, but I'm not considering him for cash right now. I think he's in consideration in a player pool for cash. I'm not going to get there. Juju or A.J. Brown in season long? I'll go A.J. Brown. Yo, what's good? What's going on, Akil? How you doing? DeAndre Swift as a pivot? No interest. Look, like, there's going to be a ton of running backs on the slate that are affordable that are going to score 25 to 30 points. When I mean a ton, like, it might actually be a dozen, like 12. I don't know. That sounds like a lot. But 20-plus points, it could be a dozen. So DeAndre Swift, even if he scores you 14 points, which looks good for his price tag, it might not even be enough, right? Especially when Philip Lindsay just opened up at a very similar tag. So I can't get to DeAndre Swift. Like, unless AP is ruled out and Swift is going to be the workhorse back and see 20 touches, DeAndre Swift's like 5 targets and 3 carries, even if he scores 2 touchdowns, might not even be enough, to be honest with you. Like, you have to get a DeAndre Swift 2-touchdown game, it seems like, and then even then he might not be viable. Like, your running backs need to start scoring 20 points for you based on how many running backs are underpriced in the slate and how many are catching passes these days. Watson, best stacking options? I have the most Watson right now. I would consider Houston one of the top 3 stacks today, yeah. How much Lindsay do you have? Like, around 25%. How many people do you have in your player pool total? If I factor out defenses, because I don't really want to be counting them as, like, players, I have 10 defenses, so I have 91 players in a player pool right now. Robert Woods or Julio Jones today? I'll go Julio Jones. Look, so people are going to ask me, like, what do you think about Julio today? Like, he was off the injury report on Friday. Obviously, it's a hamstring. Everything he was saying was that he didn't re-injure it in a major way, which would have taken another month. So he's had 2 weeks or so since he re-injured it, a little bit more, I think, right around then. So I'm projecting Julio as if he's fully healthy. I don't know what else you're supposed to do. Sal, he's not fully healthy. He's an old receiver who's had a hamstring injury. Okay, he injured his hamstring 2 months ago. It takes a month to recover. He re-injured it 2 weeks ago, but he said he didn't re-injure it in any major way. It's just a precaution. And then he's not even on the injury report Friday. So I'm just going, I don't know what to do there. You could either project him as if he's going to play banged up, or you can project him as if he's healthy. I'm just going to project him as if he's healthy. Are you getting any Devonta Freeman? Well below the field on Freeman for me. I have 4%. He's going to be maybe 10%. Dwight Schrute's in here. Dwight K. Schrute donates $5 Rooskies. Thank you. I appreciate that. He says, pick 3 for my season long. Cooper, Lamb, Diggs, Woods, or Brandon Cooks. Thanks, big fella. Thank you, sir. So right now I'm going to be going with Amari Cooper there, Diggs, and Lamb and Woods is a toss-up. Let's go with Lamb. Steven Vetri, the brother, is in the chat. Check out his sports cards YouTube channel. You can just click his name and go there. Hit him with a subscribe. He says, you like Jonnu or Tonyan today? Yeah, I'm going to go with Jonnu. Adams coming back hurts Tonyan. Tonyan's have like 100% catch rate and a ton of touchdowns, which is obviously making him look great. He looks good still, but Jonnu's going to be the guy I go with there. And just as like a straight-up projection, I have Jonnu projected for 12.6 fantasy points and Robert Tonyan only projected for 8.5. Can I start Irv Smith with Cousins? Yes, you can. Based on the projections I'm seeing, Irv Smith is going to be a lot chalkier than I would ever have expected in my entire life. So he's obviously a great punt option at the tight end position, but that greatness of the play becomes much less better when everybody's playing him. Right? Irv Smith projecting out for like 12 to 15% ownership in like every single spot I'm looking. Like, that's fucking crazy. Would you consider Lindsay in cash? I'd consider him, but I think I'd consider him. He's a good value. How do you own some players a high percentage with that big of a player pool? I'm having trouble doing that on my optimizer. Groups, rules, good projections. Groups, rules, good projections. We talk about all that stuff. Randomness. Randomness is a big one per player. Talk about all that stuff on the Patreon podcast this morning. Cooks or Fuller or both with Watson? I have a lot of both. I have a lot of both right now. Like equal amounts of both. Both are pushing around 16 to 20% for me. How do you feel about Royce Freeman? Not going to get any. I think he's okay leverage, but it's the same situation as like a okay leverage like on most slates, right? But on this type of a slate, I don't think so. Like, there's so many underpriced running backs that are under-owned. It's the same situation as DeAndre Swift. Is the 5 to 6 touches to 8 touches, even if you get 2 touchdowns, like obviously you get 2 touchdowns, that's good. But that out of Royce Freeman, that's like what you need to happen as like a bare minimum. Royce Freeman's 40 yards and a touchdown and his 10 fantasy points don't do shit for you today. You need your running backs. If you want to win the GPP, and that's the only reason why I'm here, I don't give a shit about min cashing. I don't want to min cash. If you want to actually win the GPP, your running back's probably going to have to get you. Price depends on it too. But on average, 20 points today, 18 points today, somewhere around there. Like your 12 points, even if it's from a $4,000 running back, more times than not, probably aren't going to be that great for you. Any David Johnson love? Not much. I've been getting him a good amount recently, but there's just so many better running backs on this. Like, there's so many good running backs. And they're all cheap. Henry, Madison, Taylor, Lindsay, Mike Davis, Kareem Hunt, Connor, Sanders, Montgomery. I have 15% or more on all those guys. That's 8 running backs right there that I think have upside to score 30-plus points today. They all project for me for like around 16 or more fantasy points. Most of them almost at 18 or more. Sunel donates $5 to the stream. He says, Week 6, Claypool or Jonathan Taylor for my flex spot. Both are good options. Maybe you can get Claypool in for your wide receivers, but I'm still going Jonathan Taylor there. There's not many guys that I would start over Jonathan Taylor in a season-long league this week. He looks very good, like 19 fantasy point projection good. What optimizer do you use? I use Fantasy Cruncher. Brandon Cooks or Robert Woods? I will be going with Brandon Cooks, believe it or not. Sal, pick 3, please. Gibson, Claypool, Jefferson, Kupp, and Madison. Madison's a definite there for me. That is 1. Number 2, I will be going with Claypool. Number 3, let's go with, it's a toss-up between Jefferson and Kupp, but let's go with Jefferson. Sit one of these guys. Mixon, Gurley, Montgomery, and Mike Davis. I will be sitting Gurley there. On Superdraft, how many, if any, of course, point-specific player do you ever draft at 1x? It depends on the projection. I have projections for Superdraft. It depends on the projection. For example, a 1x player that looks good today. Actually, there's really not that many 1x players that look that great. Wide receivers, there's some. It's usually not going to be that much. Like, I'm trying to even look at right now the wide receivers on Superdraft that have a 1x multiplier today, and most of them, there's only one. It's Adams, and it doesn't look as great. So it's all dependent on projections. Most of the time, I won't get too much. Looking at the running backs with a 1x multiplier, Derrick Henry has a 1.05x. He looks okay, but like Alexander Madison, you have to lock Alexander Madison on Superdraft. If you're playing the 50 lineups, whatever the max is, you got to lock him. He's projected right now for me for like 10 more points than anybody else. 8 more points. Somebody says you missed the super chat, bro. I don't think so. Oh, Masenko. Thank you. I appreciate it. PPR flex. Keelan Cole, Adam Humphries, or Trey Burton. Adam Humphries for me. I like him today. I'm getting a good amount of Adam Humphries today. Getting 11%. Run back option in Houston stacks. Stacking option with our boy, Ryan Tannehill. Our boys. And I don't want to... Look, Tannehill threw 28 times last week. He was just highly efficient, right? Rushing touchdown, 3 passing touchdowns, 195 yards. I don't like the amount of Tannehill I'm getting. There's a good chance that I dock his projection by a point. Let's do that live right now. I might dock Tannehill's projection by a point just because, it's so easy to stack him with his options, like Jonnu, Humphrey, and mainly A.J. Brown, and they're all underpriced in my opinion. But I really don't like the amount I'm getting. Like having 19% Ryan Tannehill does not feel great. I like the amount that I'm getting on everybody else. I have him almost for 20 fantasy points. So let's see if I dock his projection by 1 point. Let's see what that does to my overall ownership of players. And then, I mean, I'm not going to just run this, but I'll try and get a little bit better from there. $5 super chat from Zachary McFadden. What up, man? He said, have yourself a great day, my man. Appreciate all your hard work. Doesn't even want a question answer or anything. Hey, hope you have a fantastic Sunday, man. Second best day of the week to Monday. Perriman or Crowder? Crowder. If Perriman's active, we'll find out soon. Gesicki or Font? Font is out, so you don't want to be playing Font. Dub Nation Sports. Noah Font is out today. So Gesicki or Andrews? I mean, I'm going to be going with Andrews if it's your season long. I have more, I believe in my DFS stuff. I have 2% of both, so not much. Jimmy Graham or Ertz today? Ertz. For a single entry, do you prefer Matt Ryan or Watson? I haven't built my single entry yet. They're both in parts of my 3-max builds as of now. Yeah, that one's tough. Those are like the two guys that I would be, debating between. I haven't built a single entry yet, but my third lineup is going to be either off the wall, like an Aaron Rodgers or a Tampa Bay, because that's going to go under-owned because of how expensive everybody is. I would probably lean there. I think they're very close. I'd probably lean Matt Ryan because he's going to be lower-owned. Sal morning, fella. Who do you put your money on? Tyler Boyd or John New today? Tyler Boyd, what's going on? How you doing, Kels? Any LaMichael P. Ryan? No. So any running backs that, even if they're looking like they're going to get increased roles today, outside of Philip Lindsay, who's going to be a starter, any running backs that are just in a backfield that are the second option in that RBBC, today's like the worst day to be trying to pick those guys. There's just so many cheap running backs that have upside. I don't have any interest in them. Like Naeem Himes is somebody I got like 1% of, and that's like the only guy that I would go to. And I don't even want him. He just got on 1% of my lineups. Claypool or Gaskin? Claypool. Wide receiver list, please. I mean, yeah, we can start on the wide receiver list. It's going to be a long, long one. Get start on it and then scroll down. What do we got? Are the Jags stack in play with Shark being at game time? I don't have any Jags stacks right now. Jags in Detroit are overowned in my opinion, like wildly overowned. So I'm not going to get to any of them right now. Thanks, Rock. Have an amazing day. You have an amazing day, right? Favorite QBs on this slate? It depends on who you're stacking. I'm getting a lot of Watson, Ryan, Tannehill. Don't really want much Tannehill, but I'm getting it right now. And then I've got like a lot of ownership or a decent amount of ownership, like 3 or 4 others. Gaskin love? No, I'm going to be below the field. What's up, Sal? Favorite wide receiver today? I have the most ownership to A.J. Brown. He's just $1,400 to $1,500 on the price. He should be a 7K receiver, and he's only priced at $5,600. So A.J. Brown is the best value play in the entire slate, in my opinion. I'm sure you've covered this, but thoughts on Allen Robinson and his matchup? Yeah, I don't really have any Allen Robinson today. It's just other wide receivers fit better. Like, I'm not stacking the Bears at all. So if I'm not stacking a wide receiver, I'm just going to get a lot less of him naturally. I don't even know if I got any Allen Robinson today. He's a good leverage play because nobody's going to own him. I got 2 lineups at Allen Robinson, so I can just get unique elsewhere. I don't need to get unique there. There's ways to get very nicely unique at running back today, easily unique through your stacks today. Allen Robinson will have a fine matchup. Like, nobody in the Carolina secondary is really going to stop him all that much. Like, Rasul Douglas, not going to stop him. Rasul Douglas has been at best average. Same thing for Dante Jackson, at best average. Those are the 2 guys that he'll see on the outside, but not much interest. Mike Davis in Cincinnati defense or Montgomery in Washington defense? Yeah, I don't care about the defenses. I prefer Mike Davis to Montgomery. This seems like a week to stuff 3 top running backs in most lineups and let the field get cute. Who is your favorite 3 running backs? Yeah, I don't really have a favorite 3. I have a lot of ownership to Madison, Henry, Taylor, Philip Lindsay, Mike Davis, Connor. All those guys I have 20% or more ownership. And then I could add in Connor, or then I could add in Montgomery and Hunt and Ronald Jones and Miles Sanders for guys I'm over 15% of. So I have the most ownership to Madison, Henry, and Taylor. But I like Philip Lindsay, Mike Davis equally as much. I like James Conner as a pivot just as much. So, yeah, I mean, if you're playing tournaments, those are the guys that we're going to be in a lot of my lineups. Do you trust the attempts with Drake like you did with Mixon, or should I try to trade him? I don't have any interest in Kenyon Drake. I would have tried to trade him 2 weeks ago. You're going to get maybe a half a bag of chips now. Justin Brown donates $5. He says, pick 2. Jonathan Taylor, that's one of them. Rojo, Mixon, Mike Davis, and Fuller. It's going to be Mike Davis and Jonathan Taylor for me. Okay, I have 2 cash lineups. Should I build them off of 3 running backs? Yeah, in cash, I'd be trying to go to 3 pass-catching running backs if your lineup allows it. You don't have to force it in. I think more so than not this year, wide receivers are becoming more viable in the flex in all formats because of how often teams are passing. But there's a lot of good running backs this week, so I'd be trying to get 3. I also would recommend playing only 1 cash lineup if you can. Otherwise, you're leveraging against yourself. Ronald Jones smash spot if Fournette is out. Fournette is going to be playing, they already said, and he's not going to be getting anywhere near his full workload. Ronald Jones looks decent to me. He's 16% owned, I have. Ladies, fellas, I made it. Now let's get this money. Best of luck. Yeah, what's going on, Brendan? How you doing? Happy Sunday, Sal. Brendan Cooks or CeeDee Lamb in fantasy this week. That's Ryan Migler. I'll be going with CeeDee Lamb still. Jerry Judy or Justin Jefferson? Justin Jefferson. Mike Davis or Alexander Madison? Good question. Mike Davis or Alexander Madison, both strong options. I think the answer is both there in your season-long league. I have more Madison right now in my GPP builds, but it's hard to pass up on Mike Davis, who's also going to be lower owned. I'd probably go to Mike Davis there if you have a chalky lineup already. Claypool or Cooks today. If you're not stacking with either team, like you don't have any Watson or you don't have any run back options from the other team, this is just like a one-off spot, I'd be going with Claypool. Should I trade Michael Thomas in my season-long league? I mean, at this point, no, because you're probably not going to get much for him unless you can. Sal, who would you start in your flex? Travis Fulgham, Cordell Patterson, Brandon Ayuk, or Jack Doyle? Fulgham, but brutal spot for him today. Who's your favorite cash running back? Aaron Rodgers. Any love for Ridley today? I'm getting some Ridley because I got a good amount of Matt Ryan, but I'm not getting a shit ton. I'm getting more Julio, more Gage. I'm currently getting only my latest. Well, this is the latest crunch. This was the crunch that I did if I take Tannehill out. I'm getting like 5% Ridley, but not take Tannehill out. But if I give him one less point, I still get a lot of him. So we're going to be running with Tannehill, but I get like 5% Ridley. Thoughts on Shark / the Jacksonville wide receivers? I'm not getting a lot because I'm not getting a lot of Minshew right now. I preferred LaVisca over all of them, though. Should I start Mixon for Connor? I would try and start both. Oh, shit. Nice background. I'm with it. Nice. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got a lot of different backgrounds I found on this free site. It looks pretty cool. Quentin donates $5 for the stream. He says, if you build single entries in 3 maxes, do you still like to do game stacks or do your process change with those contests? I'll do team stacks for sure. I usually do game stacks, yes. But I do think that there's some merit if you're only playing in a contest that has like 100 or 200 people. You have to think about your opponents. DFS is not about projecting the highest lineup. Anybody can fucking do that. Anybody knows good plays these days, right? It's about thinking about more so the game theory of the players that you're playing. If you're playing in a huge contest, yes, game stacking, in my opinion, is more than viable and is the, in my opinion, best way to go about it. If you're playing in a contest against 200 people for $300 single entry or 3 max, and everybody knows the game stack, that's when I think you actually have an edge in doing like a lineup that is very game stack oriented or just looks very good, and then you swap out like a like a Ryan Tannehill you swap out for a Cam Newton. Nobody's going to have that lineup then in that type of a contest. Everybody's going to be trying to team stack and game stack. But I would argue in my projection, so like Cam Newton's better than Tannehill, and they're going to be similar price plays to an extent. So yeah, like I still game stack. Most of the time I still game stack, but today I think is an interesting spot where you can kind of put Cam Newton in a couple of run naked spots because he'll be lower owned, and I don't want to be stacking Cam Newton in those types of contests all that much because I don't think there's as much upside. Are you scared to play Montgomery and Davis in the same lineup? No. Cam Newton or Stafford? I have more Cam Newton. Godwin or A.J. Brown? I have more A.J. Brown, but I have Godwin projected. Actually, I have A.J. Brown projected for more, so he's there for me. Favorite tight end play? I don't really have a favorite. They're just based on stacks. I have a lot of Fells. I have a lot of Jonnu Smith. I have a lot of Evan Ingram and Hayden Hurst, and then it just sprinkles down through to a bunch of different guys. What's up, Sal? How's it going? Luke, how you doing? I'm stuck on tight end. Who are the big plays for tight end today? Yeah, the ones I just said, but nobody stands out as like the must need. It depends on who you're stacking. I'm stacking a lot of Houston and Tennessee, so I'm getting a lot of Jonnu and Darren Fells. Evan Ingram looks like a nice one-off option. He's still fairly priced. Hayden Hurst, I'm stacking a lot of Matt Ryan, getting him. And then I have Ertz, I have Hooper, I have a little bit of Andrews, I have some Ebron, some of the Colts tight ends, that type of stuff. How are you feeling about Julio Jones? Projecting him as if he's healthy for about 16.9 fantasy points, so I'm feeling pretty good. How many people we got in here? 900 people in here. What's up, everybody? I'm going to throw the link to the Patreon in. Basically, what you can see there is all of the projections, rankings. Ownership should be coming out, if not next week, the week after on Patreon releasing. 18 pages of game-by-game notes. Closing Thoughts podcast went up this morning, so you can check it out just so somebody signed up. Fitz or Stafford? I have more Fitz. OBJ, DJ Moore, or Woods? Pick one. I will be going with DJ Moore there. Godwin or A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown and Terry McLaurin or Allen Robinson and Lindsay. In a season-long league, I'd be going with Lindsay and Robinson. Best play below $4,000 for DK GPP. Probably one of the tight ends. I would assume one of the tight ends right now. There's no running backs below that price tag. There's no quarterbacks below that price tag. So it has to be a wide receiver or a tight end. I assume that. Let me see my $3,800 if there's anybody in the 3K range. Yeah, Adam Humphries at $4,000 flat, but below that there's not much. It'd have to be a tight end like a Darren Fells or an Austin Hooper. There's really not many wide receivers down there this week. How many players from one game is too many? My max is going to be 5. all my lineups from a GPP will have 4 or 5 players from the same game. I'll be game stacking every single one of them for my 150 maxes. Gaskins or Montgomery today? Montgomery. Thanks, Sal. I'll use one lineup. You're the man. No, you're the man, Nick. How many players from one game is too many? Okay, there you go. Answer. When is Lamar going to drop 30? Whenever he gets good at football this year? He's been terrible this year at football, Lamar. Very bad at throwing the football, not coming through with the running game either. So, yeah, like very quietly, Lamar Jackson looks pitiful out there. Like bad. You just don't notice because, for the most part, the rest of the team is really good. Sal's a game changer, folks. To him, read books and learn, baby. Yeah, for sure. What's up, Brendan? Thank you. Kyle Allen, over under 226 yards. I don't even want to bet that. Don't even have any interest in thinking about that. Jefferson or Chenault PPR in season long. I'll be going with, that's a really good one today. Let's go with Jefferson. Claypool or Parker in cash. I'd go with right now Claypool. Gibson over Drake season long. I would. Thanks, Brody. Enjoy your day. You as well. 900 people and not enough likes. Come on, give the man some love. Sal's the man. Ray chilling. Too kind. Yeah, hit the like button and the subscribe. We are on our way to now 31,000 subscribers. And also, when this video is over, be sure to check out the most recent vlog that just went up. It just went up a couple of days ago. And by days ago, I literally mean, I don't know, I said that like minutes ago, hour ago. Any ownership to Terry McLaurin? Yeah, some, but I'm not really that thrilled to get to Terry McLaurin. Single-digit ownership. Thoughts on Jeff Smith? Don't even know him. Thoughts on running Matt Ryan to Julio Jones and Hurst and running back with Jeffrey? Justin Jefferson, you mean? Yeah, that seems fine. That's a perfect game stack. Perfect game stack. Damn, Allen Robinson, question mark? I have 2 lineups with him. Chenault or Boyd? I have more Boyd. Justin Smith, 11 targets. You're thinking of Jeff Smith on the Jets and only 3K. Yeah, you're thinking of Jeff Smith, but if Perriman's back, Jeff Smith's going to lose his role on the field. So if Perriman's out, Jeff Smith still looks okay. If Perriman's in, well, Jeff Smith becomes a backup wide receiver again. I assume he'll probably still start on the outside over Hogan, though. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect 11 targets again, but he's 3K, right? If you want to play him, you can. I think I got 6%, and this is assuming Perriman's out, so we'll see. Sal, would you worry about 4K Humphreys coming off COVID? No, I'm not. Projecting him as normal. I wouldn't be mad at you if you put the vlogs on another channel, says Blake Johnston. No, I mean, the vlogs are staying on my channel. My name's Sal Vetri, and those are my vlogs, right? I don't know why I would not put them on this channel. Damn, don't know him? 11 targets a game for the Jets at 3K. What do you mean I don't know him? No, you said his name was Justin Smith. His name is Jeff Smith. You don't know him is what I was saying. I know who he is. He's had 20 targets the last 2 weeks. He dropped a touchdown last week. He had 11 targets, caught 3 of them, and it looked like dog shit. But he looked good the week before that, and it was nice to see him work with Joe Flacco. But if Perriman's back, he's not going to be as involved. Robbie Anderson or Philip Lindsay, non-PPR flex spot. Non-PPR makes it look a lot worse for Philip Lindsay. I'll go Anderson. John New or A-Rob in cash, no stack. Or A-Rob, wide receiver there for sure. Cam Newton or Big Ben? Cam Newton. AP versus the Jags, no interest. Can we see the quarterbacks page? Yeah. Let me factor the quarterbacks by the guys I actually have exposure to in 150 maxes. I think I'm going to get weird in my high stakes 3 maxes today, in one of them at least, maybe even 2. Maybe I'll get an Aaron Rodgers stack. Maybe I'll get a Cam Newton run naked. We'll see. There is the ownership to the quarterbacks. Somebody says, talk yo shit. Uh-oh. Vlog is a good change of pace, maybe better for him. I mean, the vlog's just fun to do. I like doing it. For me, it's something nice to look back on, but it also is, there's a concept of 1,000 true fans that a third of your content or so, it's hard to have that much, should be tailored towards people who will watch anything that you do because they just enjoy you. The vlogs are a really good brand play, but they're also fun to make for me. Who are your cheap wide receiver dart throws today? I mean, I have like right now 4 or 5% Jeff Smith, but I don't have any high ownership to cheap wide receivers. I mean, all of my wide receivers that have any type of significant ownership are in the 5-6K range for the most part. And some 4K guys like Adam Humphreys, I guess, is a dart throw. I have like 11% of him. He's cheap. But that's about it right now. I'm just trying to see some of this stuff. Here's my overall number 1 exposures. There we go. So yeah, I'm not getting a lot of like super cheap guys like Russell Gage, Fulgham. I'm getting some of. Damiere Byrd, I'm getting some of, like 5%. Same with Jeff Smith. But after that, there's not much. 4% Isaiah Ford. My guys that I have like 10% or higher, the only cheap one would be Humphreys that I have a decent amount of. Prumpkins says Flash by the Knights. Hey, shout out Prumpkins. All right, should I trade Michael Thomas in my season-long league? Yeah, it's probably too late for that. I would hold on to him now. He's about to come back. Why trade him now? You're probably not going to get much. Ronald Jones or Myles Gaskin? I'll go Jones. Somebody said, I thought you were going to be drinking rum in the vlog. Oh, no. anything, they ran out of hot apple cider, which sucked. Sunday to Monday slate, I'm set on Kyler, D-Hop. All right. And another option besides Zeke, who would be, I haven't even looked at the Sunday to Monday slate. Like, I vaguely know who plays on Sunday, Monday, but not even that securely. Like, I'll start looking at that later tonight. I usually don't even look at the Sunday slate, don't even play it. Sometimes I watch the game, but that's like this part of content that I just don't really want to do much of. I'm a diehard Lions fan. I'm worried for the DFS world today, favoring the game stack. Yeah, I'm just fading the Lions. They look like 4 other games today, except everybody wants to own them. So I have 2% Stafford, not a lot of Galladay right now. Other than football, are you excited the holidays are coming up, and how are you doing this fine Sunday? Nick Lopez asks. Yeah, man. I'm excited the holidays are coming up. I just released a vlog about going to the pumpkin patch, and I was fucking hell of excited. I love the holidays. Hopefully see my family for Christmas. That's the goal. Maybe go see my girlfriend's family for Thanksgiving. Yeah, the holidays are the best time of the year for sure. Freeman or Gaskin in cash? The answer is neither for me. Like, I'm not playing either of them in cash. I have 4% Freeman and 3% Gaskin and GBPs. Parker or Crowder? I'll go Crowder. Boyd or Gibson? I'll go with Gibson. No Zackies today? No. Julio's back. Claypool or Humphreys in cash? I would be going with Claypool's upside there. What's your Tennessee stack include? I mean, I have 19 lineups with Tennessee stacks, so the groups are going to be, at least on the Tennessee side, A.J. Brown, Jonnu Smith, and Adam Humphreys. Then they're going to run it back with all the guys that are pass-catching options on the opposite side, and even David Johnson. Jonathan Taylor or Sanders Taylor for me. What's up, Sal? Love the content, my man. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Will Devontae Adams be held in check today? No, the man's never held in check. Why no love for Gaskin? Shouldn't he beast as a joke favorite with goal line work? The offensive line stinks for Miami. He kind of stinks. And there's 12 to 15 running backs today that I think can score 25 to 30 points. Maybe he's one of them, but I'd rather just be below the field on him and above the field on the good running backs. Like, I have Gaskin today projected for 13.5 fantasy points. That's good, right? That's a pretty good projection. But when I have guys that are projected for more than 17 points today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 running backs projected for more than 17 points. I'm just going to go to those guys more. Penn State football is coming back. I can't wait. I cannot wait either. They play on Halloween whiteout game. Well, it would have been the whiteout game against Ohio State. Fantastic. Lindsay worth a running back spot today? I have 29% Lindsay, so for sure. Do you have any Jags today? Not much. I have 5% James Robinson, no Gardner, and then the wide receivers I'm not getting a lot of. Some Chenault, like 1%. No tight ends. Yeah, 1% Sharks. Not really. Sal, do I sit Miles Sanders if I have Madison, Robinson, and Taylor? I would start Miles Sanders over Robinson. P. Ryan or Jamal Williams? If this is your season long, I'd be going with, I guess, P. Ryan, but I don't want either. Galladay or Parker in cash? Galladay. Gaskins or Edwards? Gaskins. Should I trade Kittle if you have Hayden Hurst? I would keep Kittle. John donates $2 to stream. He says, naked tight end, 3 to 4K range. Thanks for the content that you do, man. Yeah, I have the most of Darren Fells, but I think Austin Hooper will be a sneaky option as well that not as many people are going to own. And Austin Hooper's snaps and routes and production has increased every single week so far this season. Pretty crazy. MVS comeback on the Bucks stack. Yeah, he has the toughest matchup today. Jamal Dean's been very good, but he's in my groups for that. So, yeah, you can do that. Is Odell playing? Yes, he's expected to. Rojo versus Montgomery. I have more Montgomery. Favorite super draft play? Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison. This person said, you just said the Miami line stinks. LOL. I mean, I don't know who you are, but they rank 30th in run blocking. So there's only 32 teams in the league. That's not out of the top 100. So, yeah, they rank 30th out of 32 teams in run blocking. So, yeah, I would say, I mean, god awful. Do you want me to go worse than stinks? I can go worse than stinks. They also rank 26 in pass protection. So that offensive line is bad. They just lost a rookie who, honestly, in my opinion, was a bad pick. So, yeah, the Miami offensive line stinks. I don't know what you're watching. Does home or away matter for QB position to you? No, more so Vegas odds and lines and stuff like that do. Jefferson, Shark, or McLaurin today? I mean, McLaurin will project out as the nicest play. I think Jefferson is a lower owned option that I like. Jefferson or Claypool? Montgomery and Taylor are safe enough for cash. I think there's better plays than stacking those two together, but I mean, those are two fine plays. Do you play any fantasy college football? No, I do not. Thanks, awesome, man. Well, I love the content. I definitely subscribe, though. Check out the vlog. Nice, Nick. Appreciate that. Did you just find me? If anybody's just finding me right now, let me know. Let me know. Tight end this week is brutal. Yeah, they all look the same. So just fuck it. Don't really get too caught up in it. See whatever you get in your projections and go from there. MVS or James White today? I'll go MVS. Any Giant plays today? Evan Ingram mainly. That's about it. A little bit of Devonta Freeman, like 1-2% Slayton. Tannehill or Fitzmagic? I'm getting more Tannehill. Sal, you do a great job. Keep up the awesome content. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you a ton. Have a good day. What is your percentage on Claypool today? I currently have Chase Claypool in 17% of my GPP lineups. Any monkey knife fight today, Sal? I currently have, I have some like overs in. If you watch the player props video, I tailed some of the stuff that Dylan was doing. And then I took some of the overs. I got some overs on A.J. Brown. Basically, if you have my projections and rankings, the guys that like overwhelmingly look like values mean that they're probably over a lot of their yardage props on monkey knife fight. So, for example, Philip Lindsay now, A.J. Brown, to an extent Chase Claypool. If I'm going over to the running back position, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Madison, all those guys I'm leaning overs on. Tight end position, Evan Ingram, Eric Ebron, that type of stuff. Could I see the tight end page? Yeah, tight ends. Let me filter this so you can actually see all the ones just pop to the top so we don't got to scroll. Pop to the top. We can definitely make that a rap song. I got a couple of rap songs in the arsenal. Like, I would say like 5 total. 2 that I've actually put a lot of time into. Jay. Alrighty, there you go. There's the tight ends, fella. Okay, sounds good. I will check that out. Nice. Preston Williams, how you feel about him? No interest. Just found you today. I'm now a fan. G-Man, what's going on? Yay, just found me. Awesome. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Appreciate you a ton. How much Fuller do you have today? I have 19% Fuller. What do you think of Irv Smith Jr.? I think he's going to be way, way, way too over-owned, but I understand the concept of the play. I have 5 lineups with him. Sal's funny when he gets feisty. Hey, Crowder or Robbie Anderson? I'll go Crowder. Better value for a flex, Madison or Galladay? Madison. Phillip or Drake? Phillip. Monkey Knife Fight, what's that? Monkey Knife Fight is a prop betting site where if you use the promo code VETRI, my last name, VETRI, you get a 100% deposit match up to $50, just free money. It's a player props. More or less, they have some other interesting prop games as well. The sponsor of this show is Jock Market. Check them out down below. I'm going to put a link to the tweet that I have for a contest to get 10 free dollars to play with on Jock Market. I'm going to link it up right now, so be sure to check this out. Here we go. Bang. So Jock Market's a daily. If you like the stock exchange, if you want to learn more about stocks in general, Jock Market makes daily fantasy sports, which we're all watching this for, combines it to a stock market. It's a ton of fun. The market opened at 8 a.m. It's going to close at noon, so I have to go get my bids in right now. And you're just bidding on players. You're trying to buy low like you do on eBay, but not low enough so somebody else outbids you. And then you're hoping that once you get those shares of those players, bam, they score a lot of fantasy points to go up and not score a little. They based on their rankings of where they finish relative to all the other players in the market is where your return on investment, positive or negative, will be. So you can check it out. Their app is linked down below. The contest to get $10. And right now, there's only been like 2 people that enter this contest, and we have an hour to go. So there's a 50-50 chance for those people that you're going to win an extra $50. So be sure to check that out as well. Why no Minshew? Yeah, I mean, look, he's not projected good enough for me, and the stacks don't look that great. So he's not projected good. His wide receivers aren't projected good enough compared to other players. I got 1% Minshew, so 1 lineup with Minshew. So I didn't get technically none, but he's highly owned. Matt Stafford is highly owned. These guys, to me, don't even look like good plays, like relative to everybody else, relative to their ownership. They look like bad plays. So that doesn't mean they can't do good. They're still projecting good. Matt Ryan is still projecting out for a lot of points for me, or Matt Stafford. But they're projecting out for like the exact same points or less than guys who are half their ownership right now. So I'm just going to go there. Sal, just found you a few weeks ago. Made the switch from RPS to you. I don't even know what RPS is. I appreciate the great content. Does your Patreon page provide your best single entry and 3 max lines? Thanks, Ty. No, I don't provide any lineups. To be brutally honest, I think that anybody who offers you a lineup and tells you, here, play this lineup, this is good, they just don't care. Like, it's one, lazy, and I think it's just kind of scammy, to be honest with you. I think there's ways like you can offer optimizer stuff and like optimal type of builds off of that. But anybody who's just like being, here's my lineups, go play them too. Like, I mean, I think they're just taking your money and then they're probably losing in those contests because it doesn't help anybody to just offer somebody lines. It's kind of scammy. I mean, that's exactly why like DraftKings kind of outlawed it if they see it. It's like a number one way to just scam people. Smith in play with Perriman. Jeff Smith in play with Perriman. He's much less in play. Yes, he's much less in play. I do not want Jeff Smith. The second that Perriman becomes active, if he is indeed going to be active today, he's leaning that way. Jeff Smith, I expect to still be in 3 wide receiver sets over Chris Hogan, but he's not going to project out for 9 fantasy points for me anymore. Do you like the Colts tight end without Cox? Yeah, I like both of the Colts tight ends today relative to ownership and just price. Doyle at 2,700, he hasn't done anything, but he's still being used, and Trey Burton has been doing well. So yeah, wide receiver list, please. Yeah, I'll scroll down the wide receiver list too because We haven't gotten to see the whole thing yet. So there's wide receiver list right now. AJ Brown or Fuller? I like both a lot. AJ Brown if I'm picking one, but I like both a lot. Take Irv Smith to get Galladay and A-Rob, or take Jonnu over in Smith and get Claypool. Cash, no stack. I'm not playing Irv Smith in cash. If I'm playing Irv Smith, it's to punt in a GPP. I actually want points in cash. AJ Brown or Edelman? AJ Brown. AJ Brown or Galladay? AJ Brown. The answer is AJ Brown. He's my highest owned guy. Are you high on Tonyan against Tampa? No, I have no ownership to Robert Tonyan today. What stacks do you like in the big GPPs? Houston, Tennessee, Atlanta, Green Bay. Pretty much those. I mean, I have ownership to other stacks like Carolina. I have a ton of ownership to quarterbacks today, but like those are the ones that are getting a lot of my ownership. Cam Newton to an extent. What are we thinking about Fulgham today? I have 9%. Tough matchup. I think they'll move him around enough. I think he'll be targeted enough, but I'll be around the field. Any Carolina stacks today? Less now than earlier. I took Mike Davis and I allowed him to be paired up with Teddy Bridgewater, and it gave me 6% more Bridgewater, which had me at 9% Bridgewater, which I don't want 6% extra Carolina stacks just because of Mike Davis being in that correlation. So I took him out and I got like 3% Carolina. Claypool or AJ Brown? AJ Brown. Jefferson or Claypool? I'm going to be going with Claypool. Chase Edmonds or David Montgomery? David Montgomery. Is Devonta Freeman not an instant lock on FanDuel at 5,600? No. Not involved that much in the passing game. Tough matchup on the ground. Not a great player. Nowhere near an instant lock. I also don't play FanDuel, so yeah. What did Matt just post? FanDuel runs their business like a hobby. This is laughable. So let's see what FanDuel. So if you're asking me about FanDuel, I haven't played over there in a year and a half, 2 years. People always ask me why. There's a big chunk of it that's just marketing. Like I started on DraftKings and I like DraftKings and I have no issue with them. Every time that there's ever a sketchy type of event, they always give you your money back. They don't bullshit you. FanDuel has done weird ass shit like charge you interest of like $5 every year that you don't use your account, or $3. Some weird ass shit that they send you out and don't really try and tell you about, put it in the fine print. So I think they're just a little bit not the most ethical company. And there's other small things as well that they've done. They don't allow you to download their CSV files. DraftKings does, which allows you to pretty clearly show that people aren't cheating. FanDuel doesn't. You don't know if, I don't believe anybody's using bots and conspiracy theories, but it's easily available to download their files and they just don't let you. But this is what they just tweeted. While we are still experiencing a service disruption from our stat provider, we are expecting to provide live scoring for our NFL slates. However, there may be some delays. Thank you for your continued patience surrounding the issue. They don't have a backup stat provider. It's been a week now. They've had this issue for a week now. How don't you have it done, right? So, yeah. I guess I'm slightly slandering FanDuel's name, but it's written on the wall. Last week, they didn't have a live stat provider. Everybody who played didn't even get one, the experience, or two, understand where their money was going to late swap, which is the big deal. And they just didn't give a shit. They said you can get $50 back up to $100. The people that actually care had way more. It's Laz Gets Fits. Talk about the sub $5,500 running backs. Great content. Yeah, Laz, what's up? What's up, man? How you doing? So sub $5,500 running backs. Let me pull them up right now. So, Philip Lindsay's the obvious one, getting a good amount of him. It's hard not to at $4,300. He's in some of my New England run backs. I don't have any stacks with Denver, but he's just a cheap option that's getting in at $4,300. So, Lindsay's the obvious one. Naeem Hines at $4,000 flat, I'm actually getting 1 or 2% of, just on the usage that he's getting. Not a lot there. Sub $5,500, other than that, right at $5,500, I have Antonio Gibson. I'm below the field on Devonta Freeman. Antonio Gibson I actually have, I would say, a decent amount of, but I think I'm still going to be below the field. I have 5% Antonio Gibson. I feel fine about Antonio Gibson. I think he's actually more of a single entry 3-max, better type of a play. I'm just well over the field on all the other guys. No Damian Harris, David Johnson, and Gaskin are below the field on. So I'm below the field on a lot of these guys because I'm wildly over the field right now. I'm wildly over the field on... Not wildly, but 10% over the field on Madison and Henry. I'm double the field on Jonathan Taylor. I'm double the field on Philip Lindsay. Over the field on Davis, double the field on Connor, double the field on Sanders. So, yeah, I actually I think my favorite play for single entry today at running backs to get a little bit different is James Conner. It's probably going to be James Conner. I assume in those types of 200-300 person contests, single entry 3-max, he might be 2-3% owned. That's what we were getting out of Joe Mixon and Miles Sanders the past couple of weeks, the players that I played there. I think that James Conner fits that build. I think Kareem Hunt might go a little bit lower on in a similar spot. So, yeah. But I very much like Jonathan Taylor, Madison, and Henry today. How much Gibson do you have? About 5%. Gaskin or Gibson? I will go with Gibson there. AJ Brown or Galladay? AJ Brown. Any Carolina stacks today? Yeah, 3% for me. Let me catch up with all the stuff. Laz donates $20. Appreciate that a ton. He says, Sal, it's Laz Gets Fits. Appreciate your content. $20 super chat. Too kind, man. Hope you're having a great day. Talk about the wide receivers below 5,500 and the running backs. So, yeah, we just covered the running backs. The wide receivers below $5,500. I think there's a lot of upside here. So, I'm pulling over my overall just salaries on here, and then I'm going to translate it to my wide receivers. So right now, wide receivers below that price tag. So I'm going to be getting Travis Fulgham at 9% ownership. I don't really want to do it, but it's just a volume thing. Like if I project him out for 8 to 8.5 targets at that price point of where he's at right now at $4,400, I like it. Jeff Smith, I had 5% of, but I'm going to get less of now. Well, once we get news on Perriman, he'll go from about a 9 in my projections to like in the 6s. So I might not get any Jeff Smith at that point. Chase Claypool, $5,200, getting 17% Chase Claypool. I do have some Big Ben stacks, but really not a lot. So a lot of that's just solo Chase Claypool. He's filling in some spots. 3% Chase or Big Ben, so he'll be stacked up in those situations. On the opposite side of that one, running it back though, probably not going to have that much. Like Cleveland, I don't have anything from Baker right now, so Claypool is going to be in like 10 to 12% of my lineups just as a one-off option. T.Y. Hilton, I actually like. I have 11% T.Y. Hilton. He's been dog shit, but he's $5,000 now. I'm not getting a lot of Phillip Rivers. I don't even think I'm getting any Phillip Rivers. So he's all one-off options. He's just 5K. He projects out right now for me, T.Y. Hilton, for 13.5 fantasy points. I have Fulgham at 12.5. I have Claypool at 14.5. Adam Humphries is the one that I'm probably going to have the most leverage on. I have 11% Adam Humphries projecting out for 10.9 fantasy points. I have a lot of Tannehill, so he's kind of in those lineups, and I have a lot of Watson, so he's a run back in some of those, especially full-on game stacks of 2 players from the opposite team. So Humphries, trying to see if there's anyone else. Isaiah Ford, little pieces of, obviously not at $5,500, but $5,600 A.J. Brown's my highest owned player today. Some Damiere Byrd at $35. That's about it. So hopefully that helps. Brandon Cooks at $5,000 flat. I have a lot of, about 16%. Trying to scroll down. Russell Gage, Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb I have 17%, so I'm actually highly leveraged on him and Humphries. So I think that's mainly all the guys down below there. Not much Slate in 2%. Yeah, so hopefully that helps. I appreciate the super chat. Who's your favorite Bucks run back option with the Green Bay stack? Chris Godwin. Why is Burton a maybe at $3,100? Because he projects out for 7 fantasy points, and I've gotten like 3% of him. I just don't have any River stacks, and I'm getting a lot of the other tight ends. Matt Houchins, I hope that's how it's pronounced right. Watching Sal Vetri with the pup. Hey, I'm on the big screen out there. What kind of pup is that? I can't really tell from the back. I assume Matt's watching right now. I don't know if he's in this chat. My girlfriend has a Boston Terrier. I can't even tell if that looks like a Boston Terrier right now from the back. It just looks small from the close-up. Any Cardinal stacks? No. Sal, you like Aaron Jones in a GPP? Yeah, if you're building single entry in 3 max, I like him more, but I'm not getting much in 150s. Even if I have him in my exposures with Rodgers, it's just like, even at good projections, 17 points for him, 23 points for Rodgers, Adams with 20-plus point projections, I'm just not getting a lot, which shows you that there's obviously upside there, but the optimizer's just saying like, yo, these guys are too expensive. Running it back with like a Godwin or a Ronald Jones or an Evans is too expensive. It's not working out right now, so you're only going to get like 5% Rodgers. But in single entry in 3 max, I think that's where your upside is. Because those lineups, like with Rodgers, if I factor by my exposures, like some of them pop up as like really high scoring lineups. So that's where I want to kind of be going for 3 max and single entry. But Watson and Ryan are like most of my highest projected lineups today. Most of them are going to feature both of those players. So single entry and 3 max, I'm going to be trying to build around Houston and Atlanta. How long have we been live right now? We've been live for a decent amount of time. 50 minutes, not bad. Yo, I haven't eaten. I was going to run over to Whole Foods. They put the hot bar back up, and they got a banging breakfast, but it's going to be fucking closed now. Closed at like 10 or 10:30. It's awful. Can you not delete a contest in DraftKings? You can. You go to the contest, and you click in the top right corner, withdraw entry. Unless it's full. If the contest is full, then you can't. No. What QB do you project for the most points today? Yeah, so it's normally going to be the highest price one, which is Lamar. So let's see. I have Lamar for 24.4. I have Watson for 23. I have Rodgers for 22.7, and I have Cam for 22.5. So those are my highest projected. Running back page, question mark? Yes, sir. Is Melvin Gordon droppable? I wouldn't drop him. No. I mean, unless you're in like a 8-man league. But in my 12-man league, I know that Melvin Gordon the waivers would be a hot commodity. Any interest in DeAndre Swift? No. Boston Terrier? Yeah, nice. Yeah, my girlfriend's got a Boston Terrier, and he's a ton of fun. He's like crazy hyper. Personality, I guess, is the way to describe that. A lot of personality. Sal, any Allen Robinson ownership? 2% right now. I think he's a good leverage play, but like I'm rathering. So like just in general, game stacking in 150s, I can leverage like that. So I don't really have to worry about getting 2 different at wide receivers because a lot of the times they'll be stacked with my quarterback, and naturally that makes the lineup lower owned. But I think leveraging running back is easier to do today. What do we got here? Any cheap quarterbacks you are going with today? So the cheap quarterbacks I'm going with today, Tannehill at 5,900 is the one that I have the most ownership towards. I got like 3% Daniel Jones at 5,400. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I got like 5% of, but nothing below that. Nothing else. What do we got here? Lindsay, too thin in cash? I don't think he's too thin. Did you carve your pumpkin yet? No, they're both in the living room right now. I got home yesterday, and I forgot that I was going to have a call with my buddy who lives in L.A. I'm actually going to be one of his groomsmen in July. But I had a call with him. We talked for like an hour, and then we got kava. Kava's like the fucking top food. Like if I had to rank, I don't even know if kava's fast food. If I had to rank it, kava would be one, and there would not be even anything else on the list. It'd just be kava. But we got that, and then it was like 7:30. We're like, let's do this another night. Great to see you again, Sal. Mike Davis or Jonathan Taylor for the price. Hey, what's up? So if I had to tell you my ownership, it'd be Jonathan Taylor. I have more ownership towards. I have Jonathan Taylor for 18.5 points, Mike Davis for 19.3 points. So I have Mike Davis for more fantasy points, barely. I have Jonathan Taylor as the better value. Any Cardinal stacks? No. More Edelman or McLaurin in cash. I actually would go Edelman there. Any love for Philip Lindsay? $300 above the minimum and no Melvin. Patch run defense is their weakness. Yeah, I have 29% Philip Lindsay. Ronald Jones or Montgomery? I have more Montgomery right now. PJ Erickson donates $3 to the stream. He says, thoughts on CHE season long? Thanks, Sal. $3 stream. Yeah, so CHE season long, I still like him. People are going to try and sell low on him maybe or buy low on him. I'm not going to do it. I don't think Bell is going to be that involved. Like 8 to 10 touches a game is a lot, but I mean, Darrell Williams was seeing like 4 to 6. So I think CHE is still fine for like a 16 plus touch roll. Look at this guy. This guy's name is Why Me. He said, okay, fuck this guy. I asked a legit question 3 times in a row, and 2 times were even in caps. Was it too tough of a question for you, Sal? You sound like a damn auctioneer. So annoying. I mean, I could talk faster if you want. This man, talk about being entitled. There's 1,100 people in this stream, and there is currently, I would say, like 40 questions a minute coming through, and they pop up. Wow, talk about entitlement. Come on, man. Head on your shoulders. Sanders or Mike Davis, single entry. I will be getting more Mike Davis there. Is Adams worth the 8K price tag? I think so. Yeah, nobody's really asked about Adams today. I have a lot of Adams. I didn't think I was going to get a lot of Adams because of the 8K price tag, but he's my second highest owned wide receiver. I would try and prioritize him in cash if you can, especially because we have some cheap options this week. I still prioritize the 3 running backs this week, but yeah, Adams I have 25% of. I like him. And that's crazy because I only have 4% Rodgers, so he's in a lot of my one-off spots. I only have 0% Tom Brady only. So, like, Adams is just a ton of one-off options, which makes sense. He's projected for, like, almost 21 fantasy points for me. Julio Evans or Fuller in cash? Yeah, I'm not going to go with Julio in cash. I think he's a good GBP play. I'd go with Fuller in cash, actually. Dowens donates $2 to the stream. He says, T.Y. Hilton or Cooks in my DK GPP. I would go Cooks there. But I do like T.Y. Hilton more than the field today. PJ Erickson, projecting points you have for Mixon. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thanks for the donation. I got 15.6 points for Mixon today. It puts him as a value on DraftKings at 2.52. So, yeah, makes him a decent play, but don't get a lot of him because of that. Is stacking Daniel Jones done with Slayton and Ingram and bring back with Terry? I don't have any. Actually, no, I do have any. I'm a liar. I have 3% Daniel Jones, so no, I don't think it's dumb. In my ESPN league, do I start Cam or Minshew? Cam. Any Fitzpatrick, Parker stacks? Yes, but not a lot. Who are you stacking with Cam? Edelman, N'Keal Harry, Damiere Byrd are in those stacks. Not all in the same lineup, but they're in those groups to potentially get him. Taylor, Mike Davis, and punt at wide receiver, or Galladay and Rojo and Montgomery. Both seem fine. It depends on who your punt is. If your punt is like Damiere Byrd, I probably wouldn't go there. It depends how low you have to punt with. If you can punt with Adam Humphries, I would go to that one. I'd rather have Mike Davis, Taylor, and Adam Humphries. But I think Galladay, Rojo, and Montgomery is also really strong. Starbucks or Dunkin'? Yeah, I don't really buy out coffee, and when I do, I try and go to local places. I've only had Dunkin' coffee like once in my life. Starbucks was really close to my apartment at college, so I had it like a couple times a week when I was in college, but now I just make my own. I'd like to get better at that. I just make Folgers. Like, I don't know. If I had to pick, I guess, I know they tell me Dunkin's better. It was good the one time I had it, but I've had Starbucks more. I don't like the taste of Starbucks relative to, like, the Folger that I have every day, but it's a lot stronger, so it just gives me whatever that feeling of dopamine is that you get when you drink it. It gives me that more so than, like, the home stuff. So based on the drug effect, Starbucks. How you feel about Miles Sanders' matchup? Yeah, I like Miles Sanders. I have him projected very well. 18 fantasy points. He's in the same spot as last week where he's going to go lower on than he probably should. But let me pull up the matchup notes for Miles Sanders. I have 18 pages of game-by-game notes, the plug, on Patreon. A bunch of other stuff as well on there. Let me pull up the game-by-game notes, and I can read you the stats. This is the wrong thing. This is an MMA model from a while ago. I want to start doing MMA models again. If I could start getting some time back to my self to be working through. Like golf, I'm going to try and do a golf show next week. I wanted to start doing that because I actually really enjoy that type of work. So you asked me about Miles Sanders. I'm going to try and deep dive for you. This is going to be despite the one guy who wrote "fuck this guy." So we're going to go deep on this guy's question. So Baltimore's run defense, 6th overall according to Pro Football Focus. It's a negative 24% run blocking advantage for Miles Sanders, 3rd worst on the week for week 6. Now, but he's seen an 80% opportunity share, 15.5 attempts per game, 5.8 targets per game. Just 11 red zone touches on the year, though, as the Philly offense struggles to get there, and they're scoring a lot from outside the red zone. 103 total yards per game, even in difficult matchups. He's number 4 in routes run for running backs this year with 11 receptions on a 15.5% target share, which is number 6. Projects out for 18 points at single-digit ownership. It makes him a nice leverage play, but if you're already unique elsewhere, you don't have to go back to him. So that is the rundown. That is exactly what you get for every single fantasy viable player on Patreon. It's just part of the package. So you can see we have a shit ton of game-by-game notes. You can check those out. Those are all included, linked down below. Also, again, check out Jock Market. Get into that contest. Only 2 people have them. One of them is going to win $50 for Jock Market. Everybody gets $10, so you can check it out, linked down below. What do we got? Anybody else got any Starbucks or Dunkin' questions? I'll answer your fantasy questions. That's the whole point we're here, but I like these other ones as well. Are you stacking Henry and Brown? Henry and Brown? No, I'm not having Henry in any of my team stacks of Tennessee, but I have him as a run back in Houston. 10 in page, please. Yeah. AP or Deebo Samuel? Deebo Samuel. What did this person say? Sal, you should check out what? Andrew Smith, what's up, Sal? Good luck today. Best running back in your 150s. I have the most ownership, very similar ownership, exact ownership to Derrick Henry and Madison, so it's the obvious ones. I think Jonathan Taylor has a lot of leverage, and I think James Conner has a lot of leverage today, too. No Jeff Smith with Perriman active. I'm going to get less. I had 5% at 9 projected points. I'm probably going to get a lot less, though, now. Maybe none. I'll have to rerun it. Kick rocks, but all positive vibes in this channel, for sure. Is Shark supposed to play? Yes. What tight end projections do you have this week? What do you mean what tight end projections? I have them all projected. Who do I have projected the highest this week? Highest projected is Mark Andrews for me, but that should be obvious. Then John New, then Evan Ingram, then Ertz, then Hayden Hurst, then Gesicki, and then a bunch of guys all look the same, including Gesicki. What does in cash mean? Cash is head-to-heads and 50-50s. Some people consider double-ups cash. I would consider single-entry double-ups maybe more towards cash, but it's not a 50-50 split, so I don't consider them for my cash games personally. What's up, Sal? New viewer here, subscribing now. Are you on Spotify? I am, Corey Land. Not these live streams, though, because they end, and I don't want to, by the time I get them up, the game starts. But all my other content, probably about 8 to 10 pieces of content a week, also go up on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. The Sal Vetri Show, it's what it's called over there. Thank you for the subscription. Welcome aboard. Yeah, hit the like and subscribe if you're still here. There's almost 1,100 of you in here right now. I appreciate all of you a ton, taking your time on this Sunday afternoon, morning, going to be afternoon soon. So I appreciate you. Be sure to hit that. Thank you in advance. Who are you stacking with Watson? So my group with Watson is the 3 wide receiver sets and Darren Fells, right? So Fuller, Cooks, Cobb, and Darren Fells. I'm getting 15+% of all those. I'm getting 15+% of all 4 of those guys, which is kind of scary. I started Audible books and fell asleep by a second page. Unfucking believable, somebody says. I love Audible. Right now, I keep hitting. I got a whole new setup here, so not used to where my feet go. Right now, I'm listening to Extreme Ownership, and I'm reading still. The Stillness is Key. So I'm reading a physical book while also listening to an audiobook. Not at the same time, but I like it. They're different types of books. Could P. Ryan 4K Jets running back GPP what? No interest. Even if P. Ryan gets you 14 points, he might not win you a GPP, right? And you would be so happy if he got you 14 points. That's like double the projection I have for him. But there's just so many good running backs at cheap price points on this slate that when they score 24 each, when there's going to be 5 to 10 running backs that score 25 plus fantasy points today, or very close to it, 23, 24 plus. So the opportunity cost of 10 to 15 fantasy points at the running back position is not one that I want to take when I think that there's cheap tight ends I'd rather get to, that there's not as much opportunity cost. There's some cheap wide receivers that, depending on who it is, does not have as much opportunity cost. I'd rather go there. I'm just not punting running back, usually ever, and definitely not this week, especially because now their minimum price is 4K and not 3K, so it's a big difference. Sal's a savage, just lit that boy up. Dunkin' Black is the best I've had. Yeah, I've only had once. I just don't buy it. I don't know. It's just easier for me to set the automatic timer the night before in the coffee and just have it in the morning. Your golf videos were great. Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate it. Golf. Right now, I plan to do one next week and take away the live stream that Stardom sit him for season long because it hasn't been doing as good. Just naturally it will. When team players like leagues start to suck or they start to suck more. Add more funds. Yeah, Matt, he asked about Stafford stacks. Yeah, I'm going to be below the field. I'm fading it, I guess. This is not even me just actively trying to fade it. It's just what I got. So I think that the problem is, I talked about this on my Patreon podcast this morning, patreon.com/Sal_Vetri_. Yeah, so I have game stacks for all of my GPPs, all my 150s. So what's happening right now for Stafford is, I assume if you just stack Stafford with just Galladay or just Galladay and a run back option, that's where you start to get a lot of Stafford. That's why he's highly owned. That's why Galladay's really highly owned. But every single one of my lineups have 2 pass catchers and then running it back with 1 or 2 players on the opposite team. And when I do that, when I set rules to just have game stacks, limit certain types of things, I only get 2% Stafford. I only get 7% Galladay, so I'm below the field in that game. And coming into it, I was thinking, okay, I want to find a way to leverage off of this, but just the way that I'm building groups and stuff, I naturally am leveraging off of it. Like, I like the Houston and Tennessee game more. I like the Atlanta-Minnesota game more. I like, to the same extent, the Green Bay and Tampa Bay game, so I don't really want to get a lot more of Stafford, even if he's owned. And that's how it's working right now. So my highest owned stacks are going to be Watson. Tannehill I feel gross about, but it's pretty clearly Watson, then Tannehill, Ryan, Newton, and then we start to get into a range where I have a lot of like 5% guys in Rodgers, Roethlisberger, Fitzpatrick, that type of stuff. Mr. The Blue Box donates $5. He says, Fitz or Tannehill in cash? Thanks, bud. Next brewski on me. Hey, appreciate you, man. Yeah, I'm probably going to go watch a Packer game with a friend, Packer fan as well, somewhere later on today. So I'll use that for my brewski. Yeah, I'm going to go Fitzpatrick there. Sal, James Robinson over Mike Davis, sneaky or stupid? I'd rather have Mike Davis. The Pats game is postponed. Denver and New England is now postponed. Oh, lordy. We're going to have to rerun these goddamn crunches. So it just got postponed, I'm assuming. Let's see. We need an edit button on Twitter. Yeah, we definitely do. It got postponed. Yeah, that sucks. I'm going to have to update all that. I mean, I didn't have a lot of ownership. I thought that Cam was going to be a sneaky option, but seems like that's off the cards now. Are we freezing at all? Does anybody see us lagging? If you see me lagging, it's because of this video background. I have too many windows open up with the video background. So I'm gonna try and close some shit out right here and see what we can get going. I'm going to bounce in like 5-10 minutes anyways, but I hope we're not fully lagging or off. So let me just close some things out. I could also take away the video background. I think we should be good now. We'll see. We can do some of this and see if that works. Video background kind of cute though. How many lineups total do you have this week throughout all the contests you are in? So 150 maxes, the 20 maxes will come from that, and then I have single entry and 3 max that maybe will come from those. So between 150 and like 160 probably this week. Do you think the red tag on Cam will scare people off? Well, apparently the game's postponed, so you should be scared off now. Everybody's saying that the game's postponed. It's not postponed. Somebody said, haven't heard Pats is postponed. TJ Hawkinson. 8 o'clock coffee. Yeah, I want to try the Black Rifle Coffee Company. I want to try that. Can anybody confirm this New England game? I don't see anything on the New England game yet. So, yeah, if somebody sees something, let me know. I see nothing. Okay. What do you see? Where did you see the games canceled? I just saw it in the chat. So, Maxwell House, fuck the world. Yeah, I don't really like Maxwell. I don't see anything. Okay, cool. Any interest in Tannehill? Yeah, I have a lot in GPPs. No interest for cash. Probably not my single entry type of cup of tea either. DraftKings says postponed next to Lindsay's name, but no other source I'm seeing is saying that the game is postponed. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's just wrong on DraftKings then. That'll probably change if so. Yeah, we would know. So the game's not postponed, okay? We're all good. Thank you. I appreciate it, everybody. Can you talk a little bit about Irv Smith? Yeah, I thought he was a good punt play to start the week. He still is to an extent, but he's highly owned. So, like, if everybody's going to punt him, you're going to get similar builds. Not everybody, but, like, he's coming in, like, double-digit owned in projection rates right now. So, it makes me not like Irv Smith. Like, I thought I was going to get 5% and be 5 times the field on him. I'm getting 3%. I'm nowhere near. I'm a fraction. So, I'm not going to purposely go out of my way to project Irv Smith higher for a guy who honestly probably sees 3 targets today. Nothing on Twitter. Yep. Hey, Sal, love the channel. Irv Smith or Ebron or Graham and T. Higgins? Irv Smith or Ebron or Graham and T. Higgins? Or Christian Kirk. You gave me 5 names there, Ryan. Can you just say that again in a different way? Sal, has Awesemo reached out to you to join forces? I've seen you featured in the past. Please don't, by the way. You seem to be balling fine. I just contract with Awesemo. I've been contracting with Awesemo for about a year and a half, close to it now. So I do their Tuesday show. I'm still working with them. I do a Tuesday show. They offered me a Saturday show as well, but I just want more leisure time back in my day. So I'm not doing that on the weekends. They've offered me a couple of times early on, not recently though, so one time to buy out the channel and then just earlier on just to come on as an employee and wouldn't be able to do the channel. And yeah, no, I just said no. Like the number that I'm going to be talking with a company on Monday. They said that I could be a major chess piece. I won't say the company's name into what they're doing. I just want to see what that means. Like I want to take anybody's calls. I don't know what that means. That's why we're going to have the phone call. But like the number to buy out my channel or to get me to not do this independently is something that would make you all think that I'm a fucking crazy person. And that's fine. Like that should, based on like what I'm doing, it shouldn't seem like it, but there's a number out there that is in the 7 figures that somebody can recoup in a matter of a few years based off of the following and the stuff that I have if transitioned correctly. I don't want to sell it. This is literally my hobby, so I'm not going to sell it, but that's like the number I would tell a company and they'd be like, this guy's fucking crazy. So I usually just tell people like it's not for sale because it's not. But I mean, there's a number for everything. But right now, that number is probably never going to meet somebody else's expectations. But we shall see. Yeah, I mean, I'm just fully independent. I mean, I run a media company. Like, I own my own business, fully independent. I like partnering up with other companies, whether it's from like a tools and data perspective. That's like something I'm still trying to look for. And I provide my own projections. I'm going to have ownership hopefully by next week, if not the week after. It seems very likely. Provide a bunch of other content and stuff on Patreon. But I would like to become a little bit more separated from doing my own data and all that type of stuff, still having my projections up, but having more data tools and things like that, but that I don't have to touch because I don't have all the time in the day to be updating that along with putting out a dozen pieces of content a week. They said no new positive COVID tests. Yeah, that's correct. Oh my God, the whole chat's just about this COVID stuff right now. And is it postponed or not? Good morning, Sal. Just got in here. Where do you get a chance? Can we see the wide receiver list? Yeah, here you go. I can scroll if you want me to scroll the maybes. Just let me know once you're done seeing the yeses. Voss or sink water, Sal? I drink a lot of fucking sink water, but the pressure and like the filter that I have on it makes it okay. But the sink water that I had in my first vlog in Asheville, that shit was grimy. That shit was dusty. Ugh. Any Fitzpatrick interest in cash? He's a consideration, but he's not my cash quarterback right now. No longer shows the big week for James Robinson. I'm below the field. No longer shows the postponement. Very nice, very nice. Also, if you're not yet already, and if you're brand new finding me or you just kind of tune in for these live streams, hit me up on Twitter. You can follow me over there. I update my content over there. We do some giveaways, and then we just, tweet some Twitter shit. Somebody says, congrats, man. Congrats to you, sir. If you ever need copyright law, hit me up. I'll find you on Twitter. Yeah. Follow me on Twitter. I don't really know what I need copyright law right now for, but I'm sure I could probably use it at some point. And maybe I do need it for, and I just don't know. So protection's always good. Henry or Madison today? You're not going to like my answer, right? You're not going to like my answer, but I have 39% of both. But I have 59 lineups with Henry, 58 with Madison. I would lean Henry there. Sal, what's up with... What did Mike say? What's going on, Mike? He says, Sal, what's up with Robinson? No love for him this weekend? I think Robinson is a very good single entry leverage, 3-max leverage play. The issue is I'd rather leverage running back this week, and you can just easily get unique with tight end. You can just easily get unique in your stacks every week if you're game stacking like I do. So I'm not game stacking that game on the Chicago side. I don't have much of it on the Carolina side, so he's not coming in a lot of run backs. I only got 2 lineups. So most weeks I'd be like, okay, this looks like a good spot, but I think he is priced appropriately. I think there's a lot of guys underpriced at wide receiver, and I think there's much better leverage spots at running back. So any low-owned wide receivers, like single-digit ownership, I'm probably not leveraging them as much as I am with running backs this week. Is there a reason you're so high on Claypool besides the big ball game? Yeah, Deontay Johnson's out. Deontay Johnson's out. I think he's the number 1 wide receiver on that team right now, Claypool, ahead of Juju. Like, Juju's fine in the slot, but I think he's the number 1 to Juju being the number 2, or 1A, 1B. Elon Vetri, get your money, somebody says. Elon Musk is a very interesting person. I don't know nearly enough about him to, comment on a lot of stuff about him, but from the podcast and stuff that I've seen him on, I think he's, honestly an alien or a robot. There's a part of me that does. I'm not a conspiracy person, but I'd say 1% of me thinks this guy might be an alien. Allen Robinson and cash, not for me. Henry or Madison, I have more Henry, but I have equal amounts of both, basically. DraftKings is just trolling us. Thielen, naked, and cash are only part of a stack. I'm not stacking in cash, so definitely naked and cash. Sal, what's your prediction for the Packers-Bucks game? I have bet the Packers right now. I currently have a bet in on the Packers at -1. Add more funds, donates $5 to the stream. He says, let's talk, Sal. Yes, let's talk. We could hop on a Zoom or hit me up on Twitter or something. But yeah, I mean, like right now I offer projections. By next week it'll be ownership. I offer like showdown content, game by game notes, recap, all that type of stuff. Just long term, like where Mayo is right now with FTN and Fantasy National. Long term, I'd rather just focus my craft, what I like doing, the content. And that also means Patreon can stay where it is, right? I can keep doing extra episodes on Patreon. I can keep doing breakdowns of stuff on there. I just don't want to be recleaning data like every Monday, projecting every Wednesday. Like, I like doing it still. I just long term don't know. I'd rather be doing content than that stuff. Like, I like that I know how to do it and I understand it and I do it. And it's also like cheaper, right, to not 50-50 partner that or whatever percentage of it, or license it. But like, there's going to be a point where I want to start working on other businesses relatively soon and have just enough time to do all the content, stay up to date, and not spend like 5 to 10 hours a week on the data and projection side. Appreciate the super chat too. Thanks, man. Humphreys plus Henry in cash. You can do that because Humphreys is so cheap, but yeah, you can do that. You can do that. Yeah. Somebody says, what do we got here? I agree on Elon is just way too advanced. Yeah, he's crazy, yo. He's crazy. What exactly is a stack? Good question, Bradley. So I know there's a lot of people, or Brady. So a stack is when you combine a quarterback plus their pass catchers. I mean, you can stack like a running back with a defense. You're just combining players that correlate together. So quarterback plus a wide receiver. All of the points that the wide receiver score that are not like on end arounds and like kickoff returns, right? Just straight up receptions are going to be 100% correlated with the quarterback. So the idea here is you have to get less right in a big GPP. That's why you don't need to do it in cash unless you just naturally like fall on it. But in a GPP, if you're playing a large field one, 50,000 people are in this contest, whatever it is, even if there's like 1,000 people, you want to be able to get less right. So if you capture the game that goes off, the quarterback who throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, like Dak was for 3 weeks in a row, right? 500, 450 yards. Well, then you stack him with some of his top pass catchers. Wide receivers and tight ends correlate better. Wide receivers correlate the best than running backs, but if you want to put some running backs in, you can. I usually don't a lot. What that basically does for you is you just have to get that game right. You just have to get that quarterback right, and odds are his top target share wide receivers and tight ends are going to pay off for you as well, rather than if you get that game right, now you have 4, if it's a game stack, 3, if it's a team stack, 4, 5, 3 players correct in your lineup and they've done well, instead of having to just handpick them from each game, which is then having to get 5 specific situations in 5 different games right, you just have to get one specific situation right, which is that the quarterback balls out, right, or that game hits a high game total. So it means you have to get less. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect to win a GPP. The optimal lineup rarely, if ever, wins the GPP, right? You just have to get more right, and that makes it easier to get more right. Thoughts on Joe Mixon? Yeah, what's up, Jason? I have like 1% Mixon. 15.5 fantasy points. It's just I got 10 guys projected out for more than 17 points. So that's where I go there. You like Gronk or Cameron Brate for a cheap tight end play with low ownership? I would go Gronk if you're going to choose one. Drake or Edmonds? I'm going to go Edmonds. Like, screw Kenyon Drake at this point. I'm going to go Edmonds. How do you feel about Scary Terry? I have 9%. Not going to play him in cash, not going to play him in single entry, so I just have a couple of lineups in big GPPs, but that is literally it right now. In a single game, do you have to stack? A single entry game depends on how many people are in it. Like if you're in a contest where it's 200 people, I still usually stack. I will still usually game stack. So I personally game stack like all the time unless I'm running a Cam Newton or somebody who has a higher upside as just mobile on the ground like Lamar, like running it naked, which I think Cam Newton fits that bill this week, which rarely doesn't happen often. But I'm going to game stack most spots, yeah. Any Kyle Allen? No. Morning, Sal. A little help with the quarterbacks, please? Yeah, I'll go to the quarterback page and help you out. I'm getting the most stacks of Watson, Tannehill, Matt Ryan today. What do we got? New England game is not canceled. Correct. New England game is not canceled. Are you over on Jonathan Taylor? Yeah, I'm over the field on Jonathan Taylor. At least I project to be over the field on Jonathan Taylor. I have about 30% Jonathan Taylor. Somebody says Sal Fantasy Labs. What does that mean? Something happened with Fantasy Labs? All games are playing as scheduled. New England is not postponed due to stripping. Yeah, I mean, I was just reading what was in the comments. It's all good. It's all good. Take it easy. Take it easy. It's not the end of the world. We all die in the end, right? We all die in the end. We're just having fun until then, right? I read a comment that said it was postponed. It's all good. It's all good. That's on me. I take extreme ownership. That's on me. But we're all going to die in the end, so it's all good. Thoughts on Laviska Shenault? I like him, but I'm not getting a shit ton, but I like him. Like season long, I'm starting him in almost all those I have low ownership to basically all of Jacksonville today, though. But he's probably my favorite Jacksonville play. Claypool or Antonio Gibson? Claypool for me. Ronald Jones III, I have 16%. I like him. Matty Ice sucks on the road. No, he sucks without Julio Jones, and now he has him back. So there we go. And I know he's bad outside of his dome, but there's something to those splits, but not today. Not in this matchup. Not when he's going to Minnesota, which is not an outdoor cold environment. They got a dome too the last time I checked. How's the weather in Miami? Honestly, I don't know. I don't really check the weather. I check the Vegas lines often. Like, I'll keep tracking them. If the Vegas lines move, I'll look into why. If it's weather related, then I'll start to change some of my things. Rarely happens, so not really sure. Thoughts with all these nice running backs being contrarian and getting high on a lower owned Freeman. Devonta Freeman's not going to be lower owned. Lower owned relative to 20%, but Freeman's coming in 10, 12% owned than a lot of the stuff I'm seeing. So, yeah. I'd rather go to the lower owned James Conner, the lower owned Aaron Jones to an extent, Miles Sanders, those types of guys. Thoughts on Inman? I always think Inman's sneaky, but his quarterbacks just suck. Like, I'm not going to get to Inman, but I always put him in my groups, and I'm like, maybe I'll get like 2% of Inman. Maybe I did get 2% of Inman. I got none of his quarterback, but let's see if I got any Inman. I got no Inman. I always put him in my groups, and I'm like, maybe I'll get some, but nope. Flacco or Allen? I mean, if you're just trying to punt one of those guys, that is gross, but I'll go Allen just because he can dump it off and have a little bit of mobility. Hey, Sal, the question was Ebron, Irv Smith, Graham. Pick one, and who's the better, T. Higgins or Christian Kirk? I'll take T. Higgins there, and I will take Ebron. Gurley or Jones? I'll go Ronald Jones. Taylor and Adams or Connor and Thielen? Taylor and Adams. Odell or Crowder? Crowder. Claypool, Jefferson or Hollywood? Claypool. Brett Favre or Bradshaw? Brett Favre. Not even close. Sal, when did you start playing DFS? I mean, I started playing DFS. I was like a junior in high school, so I'm out of college now for a year and a half. I went to a 5-year program, so like 7 years ago. I started playing like seriously, projecting, taking into account ownership, actually trying to win money like 2.5 years ago. Can you put the running back page on? Yes, I can, and then I'm going to bounce pretty soon. So also hit the like and subscribe before you go. How many people are in here now? Hey, we're almost to 1,100. 1092. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Hit the like, subscribe before you go. All those things. I'm going to stay live for like 5-10 more minutes because then I need food. I haven't eaten. I normally fast till like 10 or 11, but it's 11:30 almost. I need some food. Cook time factored in. Damn, we ain't eating until the games start. I can't wait for the games. I always forget, like when I'm on the stream, that there's actually football in an hour and a half. And then I'm like, oh God, we got to get ready. We got to get our mindset going. We got to get these lines in. I see Lamar as a no. Can you elaborate? He's expensive, so I won't get to him in cash this week. There's better options. And in GPPs, the only stacking options that I see viable for him are Andrews and Hollywood Brown. They both project out poorly for me, and that's as simple as it gets. They're all expensive, or Lamar is. Andrews technically is for relative to other tight ends. I rarely get to Lamar, especially this year where he's been buns. Like, Lamar's been a bad quarterback this year. Arguably really bad quarterback this year. So, yeah. But even outside of like his recent play, it's just the price point on him and his lack of stacking options. If I didn't run any stacks, I would get Lamar. I would probably get a good amount of Lamar. But I run game stacks fully, and the only options that I see viable to pair up that are consistent, Hollywood Brown and Andrews. And I have a group with that. I do, but I don't get anything from it. So that's normally what happens for Lamar for me. I just don't get a lot. Like, he's averaging 7 yards per attempt. That's 24th in the NFL right now. That's not great. His accuracy rating is 25th in the NFL right now. He's only averaging 189 yards per game, right? I mean, he's not even rushing that much on the ground right now. Like, he's rushing in terms of carries, but not in terms of overall like usage. Like, 41 attempts for 238 yards is nowhere near the same Lamar that you used to think of, just one rushing touchdown. What is your biggest DraftKings win? 17.7 thousand. We actually had 2 weeks ago across multiple sites, but 17.7 thousand, and then 16,000 earlier this year in January for the NBA. Those are my two biggest wins. I also don't play much of the big contests. Like, I do play contests where there's 50K to first, sometimes 100K to first, but I always try and find the contests that have like 200 people in them, 300 people in them, single entry 3 max. I'll 150 max as well, but I'm not ever going to 150 max the Millie Maker again. I did it once for the 2-game slate after winning 17K. Treat yourself. And we had 22% lineups with Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. The combo you needed to be the winning lineup, 22%, and we still lost $200 in the Millie Maker. We were well over the field. Jamal Williams was 3% on that night. 22% with Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. How much better can you get at that? And we still lose $200. The Millie Maker is just a terrible contest. I feel what you're saying, but Lamar is going to pop off. I mean, all right. If you think that, you should play 100%. DJ Shark reportedly active. So inactives and actives are coming out. Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson. I'll go with Deshaun Watson. Wide receivers page, please. Yeah, we're about to bounce. I'm about to bounce this thing up. I'm losing my voice, too. Ruh-roh. Matt Ryan single entry. That seems good. Why is Matt is unrated so high? Okay, so why is Matt Ryan rated so high? I have Matt Ryan projecting right now. So he has a ton of stacking options. He has an insanely good matchup. He has Julio Jones back, which is a huge difference in his splits. He's playing in a dome, still on the road. He's projected for 21.5 points, so that would be my 5th highest projected quarterback, and he just has a ton of stacking options. So, he's my 5th highest projected quarterback, but Lamar Jackson doesn't have the same amount of stacking options. Cam Newton doesn't have the same amount of stacking options. Deshaun Watson does. That's why I have more of Deshaun Watson. Aaron Rodgers kind of does, but they're expensive. So, Matt Ryan's are affordable. Like, Julio Jones is very cheap. Gage is very cheap. Hayden Hurst is very cheap. So that's why I'm getting to those guys. Single entry or Singleton or Mixon. Favorite super draft plays, Alexander Madison. I also have super draft projections if you want to check those out. They're on Patreon down below. Galladay or A.J. Brown. I like both, but I'm going to go A.J. Brown if I had to pick one. Browns versus Steelers. I have the Steelers on that one. 3.5 points. I took their side of that game. Go get some breakfast, man, and enjoy the games. Appreciate you for doing this again. No problem, man. No problem at all. Crowder or Parker? I think I have more Parker. I have more Parker. Hey, Sal, avid Patreon person. Do you think Davis is a fade with ownership? Do you play him in most lineups? I have 25% Davis in my GPPs today. I think he looks like a very strong play. So I think the ownership on him will be below what I have. I think he'll be in around 20%. So I don't think you have to actively try and fade Mike Davis. I think he's a fine play today for sure. What's up, Mark? I appreciate you. Alrighty, gang, I'm going to bounce. If you want to get your question guaranteed answered, you can leave a super chat. Somebody says, try Fantasy Labs for the data. I mean, I have all my data. I get it from free sources for the most part. So, yeah, I have all my data. I'm good on that. It's just I'd rather just outsource that side of it, do like a 50-50 partnership or something and just not have to worry about it, make sure that it's good stuff, and do what I love to do, which is content. Alrighty, we're going to bounce. I'll leave one more minute for anybody who wants to leave a super chat to get their question answered. Otherwise, we're going to go get some food. We're going to enter in these rest of these lineups. We're going to fix some of the stuff that I want to fix with my 150s. And we're going to pin down our single entry and 3 maxes. And then we're going to watch Frogwall. Then we're going to go at around 3:30 and go downtown to one of the cities that I'm by. And we're going to go with a buddy and watch the Packers game. What is your pause on Thielen? Is it ownership? I think it's price point. I think it's his price point right now. So I think like the That One Dude video, which is popping off this week, it's getting the most views that it's gotten in the first 3 weeks you've done it. So that's cool. It's unique. It's more unique content than what a lot of people are doing in the industry. So I think a lot of people enjoy it. And I'm going to keep doing it. Thielen looks like a really good play for me. The issue with Thielen is he's more of a single entry play with that stack. Like I'm not getting a lot of that stack in general right now. And it just has to do with other guys around that stack. Has to do with overall options to stack with, like Jefferson's relatively expensive. And then it's Thielen who's really expensive. So it's kind of like the similar situation of what's happening with Aaron Rodgers. His 2 weapons that are really good, i.e. Devontae Adams, i.e. Aaron Jones, they're expensive, right? And then stack run back options are also expensive. So I'm just not getting a lot of that stack in 150s, but I'm going to try and probably I might use my 3rd single entry spot or 3 max spot on a Minnesota stack because I actually do like it. I think a Minnesota stack has a lot of upside today. I don't think it's the best stack on the slate, but that's obviously why it's low owned. So I think it has a lot of upside. So I think I'm going to do that in my final 3 max. I'm not sure fully yet if I want to do that or like a Cam Newton naked, but I would say like Minnesota is probably one of the top 5 stacks today. Enjoy yourself, player. Good luck. Thank you. Later, broski. Thank you. What's up for breakfast? I don't know yet, man. We're going to try and figure it out. Let's win some dinero today. Let's do it. Any Robert Tonya? Not for me. Thanks for the stream. Good idea. Nice. All right, everybody. Peace out, gang. I'm going to bounce out. I'm going to put this closing screen on. Be sure to check out Jock Market. Link down below is the app to Jock Market. Check them out. Daily Fantasy Sports meets a stock exchange. You buy low, you sell high. You buy low, you sell high. Buy low, you sell high on players based on their projections and rankings relative to other players. So be sure to check in. The market for Jock Market closes in 35 minutes. I got to get my bids in right now, actually. So check them out. They're linked down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, gang. Peace out, Mike. See you, everybody. Peace out. Hey, yo. What's we doing on a Saturday afternoon, bro? Peace.